Hello, hello! The first half of Season 2 of Wednesday has dropped, and I'll be having a look at each episode one at a time, without spoilers for the remaining episodes. Let's have a look at episode 1. Before I dive into the apparent main mystery of the show, a bit of orientation. The first episode pretty much covered a lot of the ground that we had already seen snippets of in trailers and promotional materials released ahead of the drop. We get the arrival of students to Nevermore Academy, with the whole Addams family dropping by to bring their precious offspring to the school. And we spend a bit more time with them than usual, especially since new principal Dort is trying to rope Morticia into a new charity role by offering some sweet accommodation, like strictly sweet. We see more of new student Pugsley, and it becomes obvious why he's a bit of an outsider. This weirdo is trying too hard to make new friends, and he has even fewer social skills than his menacing sister. All his attempts to friendship backfire, and by the end of the episode he has wandered to the edge of the forest and managed to resurrect a zombie with his electrical abilities. Electricity's resurrecting capabilities are known to us from decades of Frankenstein lore, as well as from earlier in the episode when Pugsley resurrects the spider, which is a nice build-up. Now, the zombie is meant to be a deceased former Caliban Hall student with an artificial heart he designed himself. I can't help but notice the distinct Tim Burton look of the cartoon that gives us the backstory in the Skull Tree tale. Also, let's have an award for best use of existing prop, as I'm pretty sure that the fireplace in Caliban Hall, by which Ajax tells the tale of Skull Tree, is the entrance to the cave of the monster from Season 1. The whole Caliban Hall, by the way, is an allusion to Shakespeare's The Tempest, with Caliban being a half-human, half-monster character that lives on an island and says things like, "Be not afeard, the isle is full of noises, sounds, and sweet airs that give delight and hurt not." Steve Buscemi has become part of the Wednesday universe as Principal Dort. It's unclear what his ulterior motives are, but ostensibly, he's all about outcast pride and raising funds for the school. He's looking for allies among the most powerful players, looking to get Morticia to organize a gala. The Addamses are bound to have wealthy friends to bring along. Trying to flatter It Girl of the Hour Wednesday, completely misreading her personality and demeanor, and mildly threatening Queen Bee Bianca that he will pull her scholarship if she doesn't help him. And he badmouths Principal Wims. Also, what educator would in their right mind set a giant wooden sculpture on fire and have a telekinetically moved giant wooden bird fly above the students' and parents' heads? In my book, all these make him a potential villain. What kind of villain? It's too early to tell. Maybe he wants to gather all outcasts to the school and kill them, like a certain pilgrim demon that also has a knack for fire. Maybe he's an outcast supremacist that wants to create an outcast army. Or maybe it's just clever misdirection from the writers, and he's just a fool. We'll see. Another new faculty member is Billy Piper's Isadora Capri, the new head of music, a former child prodigy who is at hand to provide Wednesday with some notes on how to play Prokopiev. She manages to have the last word with the usually insulting Wednesday in their conversation, which bodes well for their future interactions. Unlike Meryl Thornhill, she's an outcast, although it's not clear what her abilities are yet. I find it unlikely that we will get a teacher as the villain 2 seasons in a row, so for the time being, I'm considering her a friend, not a foe. Now, if you think that the school itself looks a bit different, it is because it does. Not only have we the addition of a canteen, but also the quad is gone and replaced by a different looking atrium. That's likely to have happened because Season 2 was not filmed in Romania but in Ireland. And losing the quad also meant that we've lost this school fountain, that you may remember had a very distinctive feature inside the water, an allusion to Shakespeare's Ophelia and to this painting by John Everett Millais. Speaking of Ophelia, Morticia is again trying to thaw her relationship with her daughter, with Wednesday as always resisting. We have a mention of another character from Addams family lore, the sister of Morticia, Ophelia Frump. Now, in the original Addams family of the olden days, Ophelia Frump was very much the opposite of Morticia, sunny and blonde, a vibe that the Wednesday show has very much used for Mortician Whims, or Wednesday and Enid. The Ophelia Frump of the show apparently was a raven like Wednesday though. I say was, but we don't actually get any clues as to whether she's still around or not. We only see, later in the episode, Morticia looking at an old notebook of Ophelia, in which she had pages of a face in anguish, with the word black tears written again and again. This is interesting because at no point before the final scene did Morticia see that Wednesday also had black tears. They seem to run in the family independently of the current mystery of the show. In more family news, we get some glimpses of the Addams family house. It looks very much like the family house from the Addams Family films of the 90s, which looked very much like the family house from the Addams Family show of the 60s. And in another sweet detail, we see an octopus drawn on Wednesday's childhood bed, much like the one you could see on the Addams Family films. The Addamses also have had a pet octopus in past iterations. Octopus. Alright, let's finally talk about the mysteries of the show. First, we have the birds. This brings to mind the classic Hollywood thriller Birds, to which the show has alluded before in season 1, with various dead birds on Principal Wilms's desk, and Hitchcock blondes being an inspiration for her look. But this time, things get murderous. Not only do we get birds killing the PI that was surveilling those supermarket lovers, we also get birds seemingly observe Wednesday and everyone, even in visions, hers and Xavier's too. Then we have Wednesday's stalker leaving her threatening messages on her phone at the end of season 1, setting up booby traps at the beginning of season 2, stealing her manuscript and leaving her razor notes about it. Wednesday tries to have a vision about it with that Polaroid, but she can't see who it's watching. Maybe because it's a bird? The show seems to want us to believe that the two mysteries are connected. The bird victim had his eyes removed, and Wednesday's stalker cuts out Wednesday's eyes from her photograph. But I don't buy it that they are the same villain. The first mystery feels supernatural, endangering Wednesday herself by causing super scary seizure-type visions, and threatening the life of someone she reluctantly cares about deeply. Would someone or something that controls murder birds have to resort to Wednesday cartoon cutouts and cheap intimidation tricks? The second thing feels more like something a disgruntled student would do, like an overeager groupie, or a wolfman posing as a love interest to Enid. Well, whoever bumped into Wednesday at that pyre and left that note in her pocket. We need more information, and frankly, I'm excited. I'll leave you with some random tangents. I imagine that following Wednesday's seizure, the Addamses will want to stay put in that cottage to keep an eye out on her. The cottage is named Rotwood Cottage, and Rotwood is also the name that Lady Gaga's character in the future will have. Xavier has enrolled in Reichenbach Academy in Switzerland. Reichenbach, a real place, is famous for its falls, which is where Sherlock Holmes and arch-enemy Moriarty famously fell into in the classic Conan Doyle story. In the car en route to Nevermore, Pugsley says that it's weird how Gomez doesn't have the electricity abilities he and Uncle Fester have. Will that come up again? No sign of Tyler yet, but we see his dad, now firmly an outcast supporter, still lurking around the law. And we have a new sheriff that may be more amenable to Wednesday. No sign of Marilyn Thornhill either, she is currently in prison. We have a new student clan, the Da Vinci's, that can do telekinesis. I guess Rowan could do it in the first season, but we didn't see much of it. The Thing gets a new place to hang out, and also a new ring that has a little chess knight insignia on it, just as Wednesday is playing Prokopiev's Dance of the Knights on her cello. I wonder if that will come up again. And that's Alfred Gow of Miller and Gow fame, sitting behind that X-ray machine viewer. And that's it from me. See you tomorrow for the next episode. If you enjoyed that, please consider leaving a like or subscribing. As always, thanks for watching.